Coming up, the popular Syracuse bar Chuck's is fighting to stay open throughout the end of the semester. How are they doing this, and what are students' reactions?
And the Republican health care bill does not clear enough votes on Capitol Hill today, forcing a delay until tomorrow. How are lawmakers reacting to the vote?
And investigations continue into the deadly terror attacks in London yesterday. What progress have officials made? We'll have all that and more live on Citrus TV News.
This is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
The owner of Hungry Chuck's Cafe is still fighting to keep the bar open. Good evening, I'm Maria Cinti.
And I'm Mike Riccardi. New court documents filed by the owner show an unconventional approach to the bar's closure. New at 6, Citrus TV's Nick Ross has the story.
Rumors about the timeline for changes to the Marshall Street landscape have been circulating in the Syracuse campus community ever since their announcement. In a meeting on February 28th, the Syracuse Industrial Development Agency approved tax breaks for the proposed multi-use development at 727 South Cross Avenue, and quick progress has been made. Nearly a month later, the only business still in operation is Chuck's Cafe. Longtime tenants Funk and Waffles, Appetizing, and Hair Trends have all left, their doors closed and now bearing abatement notices. Syracuse 727 LLC, the property's landlord, sent a notice of termination for Chuck's lease dated February 28, 2017. According to the document, the lease would terminate 6 months from that date, meaning Chuck's could remain open through the end of August. Even though the lease has not yet ended, the developer is beginning the abatement process before demolition can begin. It's this process that Stephen Theobald, owner of Chuck's Cafe, is trying to prevent. According to court documents obtained by Citrus TV, Theobald filed a temporary restraining order against Syracuse 727. The documents were filed on March 8th, and abatement inside Chuck's was expected to begin on March 10th. Part of the lease says that the landlord is allowed to make, quote, repairs, additions, or alterations, but Theobald argues that abatement goes beyond typical repairs. Several students say they support his efforts.
Someone's trying to knock his building down. He's trying to keep it up. You got to do what you got to do.
So, like a lot of history, like you can literally see it on the walls when you walk in there. People have inscribed their names and like signatures and all that.
And that history is what's raised concerns for the owner. According to item 19 of Theobald's complaint, he has been given no details about whether any consideration will be made for the memorabilia inside the bar, how the air will be tested, or how food and alcohol will be protected during the abatement process. The complaint also raises concern about how long the bar will be closed, and if any financial compensation will be made for the loss in revenue during one of the busiest times of the year for Chuck's. The case will be heard in Onondaga County Supreme Court on March 28th at 10 a.m. Nick Ross, Citrus TV News.
Citrus TV will have coverage on Tuesday after the hearing. And remember, you can always get the latest news online at citrustv.com.
The 2017-2018 Syracuse University budget was released. The budget reflects the university's commitment to financial aid and controlling cost of attendance. Full-time undergraduate tuition will increase 3.9% and increase room and board by 2 to 2.5%. The university also pledged $255 million to undergraduate financial aid. Syracuse University has been named Best Value School the past 4 years by U.S. News and World Report. The Syracuse University Drama Department will present Major Barbara starting March 31st at the Syracuse stage. Written by George Bernard Shaw, the play employs strong dialect by placing opposing viewpoints against each other. The comedy is originally set pre-World War, but Drama Department Director Jardine Clark will move it to the 1930s in order to amplify the major themes in the play. Shaw introduces the play with the line, quote, "The greatest of evils and the worst of crime is poverty."
The Syracuse Abroad program in London announced that all its students are currently accounted for. An email from an associate director called for students to remain vigilant for the time being. The email follows after a stabbing in front of Westminster on Wednesday. 3 are dead and 40 were injured following the incident, but no Syracuse students were affected.
Well, it's officially spring, but we've dipped back into some pretty cold temperatures this week.
Jack Watson is here to tell us what to expect in weather. Jack?
That's right, guys. The first day of spring was technically this past Monday, but considering last week's big snowstorm and this week's cold temperatures, I think it's pretty safe to say that Old Man Winter isn't quite ready to throw in the towel just yet. Today, right now, 32 degrees, a rise in temperatures after an even colder Wednesday. That was yesterday. And if you're like me, you're wondering, when can we expect the spring-like temperatures to roll in for good? I'll let you know on my full forecast when Citrus TV News Live at 6 returns. Guys?
Coming up, lawmakers battle on Capitol Hill over the new Republican proposed health care bill. How did the voting on the bill go today? And what is the future of Obamacare?
And more information emerges on the investigation into the London terror attack yesterday. We'll have more on this developing story after the break.
But the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
A planned deal was not made on the new Republican health care bill today and will instead take place tomorrow.
President Trump met with House conservatives on Wednesday to discuss the bill that could potentially replace Obamacare. The new bill is aimed to decrease costs and increase health care access for Americans. If the vote is completed, it will be on the 7th anniversary of the Affordable Care Act.
House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi has some strong words for Republicans today over the bill.
I've told the Republicans, and we worked for several hours in the Rules Committee last night, Republicans vote to destroy health care coverage, especially in this brutal form. Well, that vote is going to be tattooed to their heads. They can't say Donald Trump made me do it. He's not their boss. Their constituents are their bosses. And this vote, as I say, will be their tattoo.
Senator Chuck Schumer vowed to filibuster Neil Gorsuch's Supreme Court nomination today.
President Trump nominated Gorsuch after assuming office, and his nomination hearings were held throughout this week. Schumer stressed that Gorsuch must earn over 60 votes in the Senate in order to be confirmed. Republicans, however, want to change Senate rules and turn it into a majority vote.
In a Senate floor speech today, Schumer voiced his frustrations over Gorsuch's nomination.
Judge Gorsuch was unable to sufficiently convince me that he'd be an independent check on a president who has shown almost no restraint from executive overreach.
A racially motivated slaying occurred yesterday in New York City.
A white man took a bus to Midtown Manhattan from Baltimore and, upon arrival, stabbed a random black man to death with a sword. The victim, Timothy Kaufman, was 66 years old.
The murderer told officials that he had held feelings of hatred toward black individuals for 10 years and chose New York due to its status as the, quote, media capital of the world.
The State Department will approve the Keystone Pipeline tomorrow.
This will reverse one of President Obama's major environmental decisions made during his presidency. The pipeline is a source of huge controversy between oil industry supporters and environmentalists.
While the economic benefits are a topic of controversy, the pipeline will create a vast amount of carbon dioxide, which is causing climate change. TransCanada, the company behind the pipeline, still needs approval from the Nebraska Public Service Commission.
It was announced by London officials that the man who killed 4 in Westminster yesterday was a British-born citizen.
Prime Minister Theresa May revealed that the terrorist, 52-year-old Khalid Massoud, had been investigated years ago and was once linked to violent extremism. An ISIS-affiliated news agency also claimed that the group was responsible for the attack.
8 people were arrested following the incident. 29 additional people were treated in the hospital for injuries, and 1 man succumbed to those injuries earlier tonight.
And out of the 4 killed yesterday in London, 1 victim was an American.
54-year-old Kurt Cochran was hit by a terrorist car and thrown over the Westminster Bridge onto a walkway below. His wife was also struck and is being treated for a broken leg and rib.
The couple was visiting London as a part of a European tour for their 25th anniversary. President Trump tweeted that his prayers and condolences are with Kurt Cochran's family.
A Jewish teenager was arrested in Israel today for bomb threats to Jewish community centers across the United States.
The investigation lasted several months as officials tried to track down the source of the threats. The suspect holds dual American-Israeli citizenship, but his motives are still unclear at this time.
Over 100 bomb threats were made across 33 different states in 5 separate waves.
A vocal Vladimir Putin critic is dead after being shot in Kiev earlier today.
Denis Vorenenkov had fled to Ukraine after objecting to Russians' involvement in Crimea. The police chief says a suspect was wounded and taken to the hospital.
No motive for the attack has been declared. However, the Ukrainian president called their shooting a, quote, Russian state act of terrorism.
The Taliban is now in control of a key district in southern Afghanistan.
This is the end of the most deadly battle in the fight for territory in the country. Spokesmen for the central government denied claims of the Taliban advances, but the local government says there's no doubt that the district has finally fallen to the terrorist group.
Hundreds of British, American, and Afghan forces died protecting the district.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Guys, as spring is moving in, winter is moving out, and that means it's time to take a look at our weekly average temperatures for the winter during the spring semester, but I think we can all tell it was very wintry these past couple of weeks. The week of February 12th here, 30 degrees and 28 degrees the week previously, but a big spike here, 45 degrees the average for the week of February 19th. If you'll remember, that was the time we had that 70-degree Friday and that 68-degree Saturday. 35, 30, 21, and 33 this week. And that brings us to today's weather. 36 degrees was our high teens to begin the day. It went up by almost 20 degrees, and it's our last taste of serious winter weather for now. Our current temperatures in and around the area, it's Shaquille O'Neal in his Los Angeles days, mostly 34 right here, Syracuse 34, Fulton 34, Rome up here 34 as well, and Binghamton another 34, Ithaca 35, and Elmira 36. Our future radar here not showing much during the overnight hours, but as we can see, 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m., a big snow/ice development. If it is below 32 degrees, we can expect there to be ice for our commuters as we go into tonight's forecast. A mostly cloudy night as we saw 25 degrees the high. Ice and rain clouds will be rolling into the region, and that brings us to our Friday day planner. 9 a.m. when you're getting up for classes, 33 degrees, moving into noon, getting hotter as we go to 39 degrees, and 6 p.m., 47 degrees, an increase of 14 degrees from 9 a.m. A potentially icy commute, the big takeaway here, and it is raining pretty much all day, but it is getting warmer. And that brings us to our Citrus TV 5-day forecast. Saturday, a bit of a dip in temperature, 41 degrees, consistent rain showers rather that day. The lowest chance of snow or rain rather is going to come on Sunday, 50% there with 45 as the high. Monday, a high of 49 degrees, getting warmer though, and by Tuesday we are in the 50s, guys.
So Jack, you mentioned we're supposed to be getting rain, but how long is it supposed to last?
Well, this rain is going to stick around for a long time. Thursday at the latest, this Thursday, is when we would expect the rain to completely stop for a while.
Punxsutawney Phil said 6 more weeks of winter. He was not joking. Can we expect any more snow?
Well, the snow seems to have escaped us for now. The lowest it's going to get, 39 degrees, the high on Saturday, and then it's going to be in the 40s and 50s for the next couple of weeks.
All right, thanks, Jack. And coming up, Ford expects big losses in their profits for the fiscal year's fourth quarter. How will this affect the automaker giant going into the future?
And former figure skater Kristi Yamaguchi sends a tweet to fellow competitor Nancy Kerrigan that has the internet in stitches. What exactly did she tweet? Stay tuned to find out.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at Citrus TV News, your campus news leader.
A new smartphone attachment can test male fertility of up to 98% accuracy. The device will make fertility testing for men easier and more affordable as it can be used at home. In 2010, 15% of couples were considered infertile. This device will be revolutionary because it will make male fertility testing as simple as the at-home pregnancy test. And Virgin America will now be Alaskan Airlines. Alaskan Airlines acquired the Virgin America brand in order to expand into California and beyond the Pacific Northwest. Alaskan Airlines will retain many of Virgin's luxuries such as free in-flight entertainment, boarding music, and mood lighting. New changes will include the expansion of first-class seating and high-speed satellite Wi-Fi. The first Virgin America planes will be repainted in 2018.
Ford expects profits to fall 50% this quarter. Due to weaknesses in the auto industry, the company expects profits to decline globally. Ford expects a decline in the Asian, Pacific, and European markets. General Motors sold its Vauxhall and Opel brands due to uncertainty in European markets due to Brexit. Ford believes, however, that it will be able to persevere if President Trump places a tariff or tax on imports from Mexico. The words break a leg may not always be interpreted as good luck. Kristi Yamaguchi tweeted to Nancy Kerrigan, break a leg, wishing her good luck in the Dancing with the Stars. Kerrigan, however, was hit in the leg with a crowbar by a man hired by a fellow U.S. figure skater, Tanya Harding, prior to the 1994 Winter Olympics. There was strong reactions on Twitter as a result. Yamaguchi insisted that no ill will was intended by the tweet.
Mike, if you try to break my leg during the commercial, we're going to have an issue, buddy. Coming up after the break, we'll hear what goalie Evan Malloy has to say about Syracuse lacrosse's upcoming contest with Duke, plus a big announcement from a member of the SU basketball team. Stay with us.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Hello, I'm Chris Benson. Last time Syracuse lacrosse played Duke, goalie Evan Malloy wrapped up his magnificent ACC tournament with 13 saves as the Orange beat the Blue Devils and captured the 2016 conference title. On Saturday, number 6 Syracuse and number 11 Duke face off again at 1:30, and Malloy can't wait to get out and compete against a revamped Duke offense.
It's definitely good that Miles Jones and Deemer Class aren't out there. You know, it's nice for me as a goalie, especially that those guys aren't out there. But it's Duke lacrosse, it's ACC lacrosse, so we know that they reload. You know, I mean, their best midi this year had 2 goals against us in the ACCs. Brad Smith, so he's a great midfielder, he's capable, and they're young and they're hungry, kind of like our defense we talked about. I'm sure that they approach every day the same way that they are, and Justin Gutterding is a Long Island guy I played against my whole life. He leads the country in points, so they definitely have a different offense, and maybe the midfield isn't the best thing, but they still have capable players.
SU football held its second day of spring practices this afternoon. At the end of last year, head coach Dino Babers said gaudy statistics should turn into wins this year in year 2 of his tenure. In the spring, however, the Orange know that the only goal right now is improvement, so they might be able to stand up to those increased expectations come fall.
Right now, we're just worrying about getting better every single day and just really understanding the system and then playing with more of an attitude, because even though that the defense wasn't blitzing here, blitzing there, we still have to come, you know, we have to bring it.
I feel like a lot of guys have bought in more to the film and just trying to understand the defense and just, you know, basically getting a whole another year, and it's just something that takes time, you know.
In men's basketball, the Orange will be without one of its leaders on the court next season. It's now official, Tyler Lydon has declared for the NBA draft. Reports swirled earlier this week about the sophomore foregoing his final 2 years of eligibility. Those reports now confirmed by Lydon himself. Last night, the 6'9" power forward posted this farewell message on Twitter saying it was a privilege to wear the Orange uniform, thanking fans, his friends, and his family. Lydon averaged nearly 12 points and 7 rebounds in his 2 years with the Orange. And on the women's side, Brittany Sykes and Alexis Peterson have called themselves the best backcourt in the nation this season on multiple occasions, and the pair now has some hardware to prove it. Alexis Peterson named earlier today to the 2017 All-Eastern College Athletic Conference's first team. The senior set the Syracuse singles season record for points and assists. Peterson and backcourt partner Brittany Sykes were both named to the Women's Basketball Coaches Association All-Region team. On April 1st, the WBCA will select the All-American team made up of all regional honorees from around the country. In the NBA, the Knicks look to halt its 3-game losing skid against the Trailblazers. New York has lost its last 5 games on the road, and tonight they'll face a motivated Portland team that's in the hunt for the NBA playoffs. The Blazers sit only a game and a half back behind the Nuggets for that final spot in the Western Conference playoffs. Tip-off is the late one at 10 o'clock on the East Coast. And Brooklyn, meanwhile, returns to Barclays Center for a showdown with Phoenix. Both teams have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs based on their current records. But if you're Brooklyn, tonight provides a little bit of extra motivation. There are only 3 players currently on the Nets roster to experience a consecutive win with this Brooklyn team. You heard that right. The Nets haven't won back-to-back games in nearly a year. But after Tuesday's victory against the Pistons, the Nets have an opportunity to do just that. We'll see if Brooklyn can pull it all off. Game time tips at 7:30. And now let's turn to the ice. Last night, the Islanders came out on top in this year's final installment of the Battle for New York. The Islanders beat the Rangers 3-2 at Madison Square Garden. The Isles rallied late, scoring 2 goals in the final period to pick up a crucial win as they race towards the playoffs. The Islanders sit 3.5 points back of the final wildcard spot with just 10 games to go. The Rangers hold a 3-game lead over Boston on that first wildcard spot. And finally, March Madness continues tonight as we take a look at some of the Sweet 16 matchups taking place this evening. 2 1 seeds in action. Gonzaga takes on West Virginia at 7:40, and then it's Kansas and Purdue at 9:40. The tournament continues throughout the weekend as many teams vie for a bid to the Elite Eight. A marquee matchup to keep an eye on, guys. Kentucky and UCLA. Plenty of eyes will be on that one.
And we'll be right back with a quick look at what to expect for weather.
Don't go away.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
So Jack, when we wake up tomorrow morning, what should we expect to see outside?
Guys, tomorrow in the early morning hours around 5, 6, and 7 a.m., there is a chance for some ice because it will be below 32 degrees. But otherwise, for the morning, it's going to be steady, consistent rain.
If I'm heading to the Dome Saturday for the lacrosse game, what can I expect?
Well, there's a common theme here, Mike, because there is going to be rain this Saturday. It's looking like you're going to shelve your winter coat and break out your rain boots and your rain jackets, etc. It's going to be a 90% chance of rain on Saturday with 39 degrees as our high.
All right, thanks, Jack.
And coming up on OTN, we've got On the Bench at 6:30, followed by Juice and Java at 7.
And then make sure you tune in to a brand new episode of our live political talk show hosted by myself and Josh Carney, Talking Points at 7:30.
And that's all the time we have for tonight. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at CitrusTV News. I'm Maria Cinti.
And I'm Mike Riccardi. Have a good night, Syracuse.